For a piece of chicken, my stepson, whom I'd been married to for 5 years, cursed me as a parasite, and my husband condoned it. I gave up my career and the chance to have children for him, only to be left with scars all over. After waking up, I decisively withdrew, letting my ex-husband's family fall into chaos under the meddling of my own mother and his mother. In the end, my ex-husband was dying of lung cancer. My own mother ran away with the money and was suspected of being sold to northern Myanmar, and my stepson was seriously injured and imprisoned. And me? Reborn, with success in both career and love, watching them reap what they sowed from overseas, living a life they could never reach. The atmosphere at the dinner table instantly froze when I picked up my second honey-glazed chicken wing. Do you have no shame? All you do is eat. You're eating my dad's money. The sharp, piercing voice came from the boy across from me, my stepson in name, Leo. He was staring at me with a look mixed with disgust and disdain, as if I were not his stepmother, but an enemy who was robbing him of his resources for survival. The greasiness of the chicken wings disappeared instantly, leaving only a cold sense of humiliation crawling up my spine. I subconsciously looked at my husband, Mark. He was sitting at the head of the table, holding a fork in his hand, his eyes fixed on the steak in front of him, as if he hadn't heard anything, hadn't seen anything, not a word of defense, not a single comforting glance. Silence was his attitude. My heart sank bit by bit, shattering into pieces. 5 years. 5 years of marriage. 5 years I've been Leo's stepmother. For these 5 years, I've been a fool, giving my heart and soul. When Mark was pursuing me, he vowed to love Leo with me and give me a complete family. He was divorced with a 7-year-old son, and I didn't mind. In order to better integrate into this family and take care of young Leo, I even resigned from my promising project manager job at Apex Innovations, a world-leading technology company. I learned to cook his favorite dishes, helped him with his homework, took him to amusement parks, and bought him the latest toys. To prevent him from feeling neglected, I discussed with Mark that we should postpone having our own children. He agreed without hesitation, saying that I was sensible and considerate, but everything I gave seemed to be taken for granted. Leo has never been truly close to me. At first, he was just a little distant, but later, with the occasional visits and care from his biological mother, Serena, and his grandmother, Mark's mother, this distance turned into blatant disgust and hostility. When I get my nails done, he'll curl his lip and say, "Too flashy, doesn't look like a good person." When I buy a new dress, he'll say sarcastically, "Spending my dad's money again, parasite." These words are getting harsher each time. It's not like I haven't communicated with Mark about it, but he always says the same things. He's still young, don't bother with him. He's spoiled by his mom and grandma. I'll talk to him later. Please bear with him. He's not your own after all. Yes, not my own. These 5 words are like a master key, explaining all the grievances and blocking all attempts to communicate. This chicken wing today is just the last straw that broke the camel's back. I can't eat anymore. I put down my chopsticks, my stomach churning. Mark finally looked up, frowned, and looked at me. "Why aren't you eating?" Leo snorted coldly from the side, muttering in a voice that was neither too loud nor too soft, pretentious. I looked at Mark and asked, word by word, "Did you hear what your son just said?" Mark frowned even harder, his tone a little impatient. "I heard. Kids don't know any better. Why are you arguing with him? Is it worth it for a chicken wing? Is it worth it?" I repeated these 3 words, feeling a chill spread from the bottom of my heart, freezing my limbs. "Mark," he called me a parasite, "freeloading off your money, and you call that kids not knowing any better? What else?" Mark's voice also raised a bit. "You're not working right now. You're at home. Isn't it my money you're spending?" What he said is the truth, although the words were a little harsh. "But you're an adult. Enough. I don't want to hear the rest." The truth? So, in his heart, my 5 years of dedication, my 5 years of giving up my career and sacrificing myself, were just not working and spending his money. I feel like a complete joke. The child I treated as my own sees me as an enemy, and the husband who swore vows thinks I'm making a fuss. This home that I tried so hard to maintain has never truly accepted me. A wave of unprecedented exhaustion and determination surged into my heart. Enough, really enough. Since they all think I'm an eyesore and that I'm superfluous, why should I wrong myself any longer? I stood up and calmly swept my gaze over the father and son. "You're right. I made a fuss about nothing." Mark thought I was giving in, and his expression softened slightly, but I continued. It won't happen again. Leo is right. I am spending your money. So, starting tomorrow, I will look for a job. As for this family, I paused, looking at the untouched food on the table. Whoever gives birth raises them. Whoever's responsibility it is bears it. I'm tired. After speaking, I didn't look at them again, turned around, went back to my room, and locked the door. The next day, I didn't get up early to prepare breakfast as usual. My biological clock woke me up, but I just lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. Mark's impatient urging came from the living room. Ava, where's breakfast? Leo's going to be late for school. Immediately following was Leo's loud voice. Dad, where's my school uniform? The one I threw in the laundry basket yesterday. Find it for me quickly. No one responded. After a while, Mark knocked on my door, his tone unkind. Ava, what are you doing? You're not making breakfast, and you're not washing Leo's clothes? I opened the door and looked at him calmly. I told you yesterday, I'm not his biological mother. I have no obligation to serve him. If you want breakfast, make it yourself or buy it. As for clothes, he's a big boy about to take the middle school exam. He can wash them himself. Mark was stunned, seemingly not expecting me to be so firm. What do you mean? Are you really angry, just because of that little thing yesterday? It's not a small thing. I corrected him. It's your and Leo's attitude that has completely disappointed me. Mark, I'm not the nanny you hired. Mark was exasperated. Don't forget, you were the one who wanted to resign to take care of the family. Yes, I was willing, but I'm not willing now. I met his gaze. I want to find my own life again. At this moment, Leo also rushed over, with messy hair and sleep marks on his face. I told you, she wasn't sincere to me at all. Now she's showing her true colors. He turned to me and said fiercely, who cares if you're nice to me? I never considered you my mother. This sentence, like a poison dagger, precisely pierced the softest part of my heart. Although I had a premonition, hearing it with my own ears still hurt so much that I almost suffocated. But instead of feeling sad and shedding tears like before, I laughed, with a hint of relief. Thank you for reminding me. You are indeed not my biological son. After speaking, I closed the door, shutting out the angry shouts and roars of the father and son outside. I opened my laptop and started browsing job search websites. It's been many years since I've been in the workplace, and I'm a bit rusty, but my foundation is still there. I contacted former colleagues and also sent a message to Chloe, my old college classmate. Chloe is now a partner at a well-known accounting firm, and we've always had a good relationship. Soon, Chloe replied to my message and asked me to meet for a chat. On the day we met, I briefly explained my situation, without hiding the fact that the child was not my own. Chloe was surprised by my experiences over the past few years, but she expressed understanding and support. She said the firm happened to be short of an experienced project manager and asked if I would be willing to give it a try. Ava, I know you are very capable. Don't let family bury you. Chloe encouraged me. I accepted her invitation. My determination to re-enter the workplace has never been so firm. After I started working, the situation at home was predictable. Mark is already busy with work and has no time to do housework at all. Leo is even more of a spoiled young master who can't even handle his own affairs. When I got home from work, I saw dishes piled up in the sink, dirty clothes scattered on the sofa, and leftover takeout containers. The air was filled with a strange smell of rotten food and sweat. Leo was wearing a wrinkled school uniform with obvious stains, sitting on the sofa playing games. When he saw me come back, he just raised his eyelids and then immersed himself in the game world again. Leo, your school uniform needs to be washed, I reminded him. He didn't even raise his head. Didn't you see? It's dirty, so it's dirty. That's your school uniform. Figure it out yourself. I walked to the refrigerator and took out a bottle of water. Aren't you my mom? He finally paused the game and yelled at me. I'll say it again. I'm not your biological mother. I unscrewed the cap and took a sip of water. I was being sentimental before, but I won't be anymore. Leo was so angry that he slammed the game controller on the ground. Without me taking care of his daily life, Leo's quality of life declined sharply. He started eating takeout every day, and the high calories and irregular schedule of fast food caused him to gain weight rapidly. His face also broke out with pimples, making him look sloppy and irritable. Mark also complained about this a lot, and tried several times to get me to resume the role of a virtuous wife and loving mother, but I coldly refused. Ava, the house is such a mess now. Can you really bear it? Mark, this is your home. Your son. It was my fault before. Now I'm returning everything to its rightful owner. Just when the house was in a complete mess, Leo's biological mother, Serena, made a glittering appearance. She came to see Leo with the latest Switch game console and a lot of snacks, dressed in glamorous attire. As soon as she entered the door, she hugged Leo and showed her concern, and the mother and son were very affectionate. Leo baby, look what mommy brought you. Have you been tired from studying lately? Do you miss mommy? Serena's voice was sickeningly sweet. Leo immediately beamed, his previous irritability completely gone. I want to. Mom, you're the best to me. Serena glanced at me, her eyes filled with subtle smugness and provocation. She sat next to Leo, helping him unwrap the gift and discussing games, completely ignoring me and the chaos of this home. I stood aside, coldly watching this performance of motherly love and filial piety, while my heart was bleeding. I remembered that in order to broaden Leo's horizons, I had paid out of my own pocket nearly 100,000 yuan to send him to an Antarctic scientific expedition-themed summer camp. I remembered that in order to improve his grades, I had signed him up for expensive tutoring classes costing thousands of yuan per hour for a single subject. Leo seemed to have forgotten all of this, or rather, in his mind, all of this was not as good as a cheap game console from his biological mother. The investment of money and energy seems so pale and powerless in the face of blood ties. Reality is truly cruelly laughable. Serena left in less than 2 hours, leaving behind an excited Leo and a complete mess. Watching Leo hug his new game console, looking like he couldn't bear to put it down, I made a decision. A few days later, the tutor called to ask why Leo hadn't been to class and why this month's fee hadn't been paid. Leo answered the phone. He found me with the phone and questioned me confidently. The teacher said you didn't pay the tuition. I have a test next week. Why did you stop my classes? I was preparing the materials for work the next day, and without even looking up, I said, oh, I forgot. I won't be responsible for your tuition from now on. What? Leo raised his voice. Why? You always paid it before. I closed the file. I used to be willing to, but now I'm not. My salary isn't high, and I can't afford such an expensive tutoring class for you. Go find your dad, or ask your biological mother. Leo was so angry that his face turned red. He stormed into the study to find Mark. The father and son had a big fight. In the evening, Mark found me, his face livid. Ava, what exactly are you trying to do? Leo is about to face the high school entrance exam. How can you stop his tutoring classes at this time? I have no money, I answered simply. My salary has to cover my own expenses, and occasionally subsidize the family. I can't afford that expensive tutoring fee. You. Mark was so angry he couldn't speak. Didn't you always say that supporting Leo's studies was the most important thing? Times change. I looked at him. Mark, it was your son who didn't want me as his stepmother first. I was just complying with his request. In the end, Mark had no choice but to let Leo ask his biological mother, Serena, for money. The result was predictable. Leo called Serena and pleaded for a long time, but Serena ultimately refused on the grounds that I'm a little tight on money lately. Definitely next time. Leo stood there holding the phone, stunned, quite shaken. He probably didn't expect that his biological mother, who was the best to him, would hesitate and back down when it came to real money. After this incident, Leo was depressed for 2 days, and the way he looked at me became much more complicated, but he still didn't show any remorse. The tutoring class issue hasn't completely subsided, and Mark's mother, my ex-mother-in-law Martha, came knocking on my door again. As soon as she entered, she started berating me. Ava, what kind of stepmother are you? You can't even take care of a child properly. Look how skinny my grandson has become. And this house, it's as messy as a pigsty. You're a woman, not doing any housework at home. Is that acceptable? I have never had any good feelings for this mother-in-law who has never given me a good look since I entered the house and often stirred up trouble in front of Leo. Mom, I'm at work now. Mark and I will take care of things at home. My tone was calm. Take care of it? You call this taking care of it? Martha's voice was loud. No, I can't stand it anymore. I have to move in and take care of my grandson. I neither opposed nor agreed. I knew that with her personality and Leo's temper, this would definitely be a disaster. Sure enough, after Martha lived there for only 2 days, the house was in complete chaos. The dishes she makes are either too salty or too bland, and she always likes to make healthy food that Leo doesn't like. When Leo complained a few times, She scolded Leo for being picky and ignorant. "Grandma, I want sweet and sour spare ribs. What is this thing you made?" Leo looked at the dark ribs on the plate with a look of disgust. "What's the point of a child eating so much sweet stuff? This is nutritious." Martha insisted. "I want to eat it. If you don't make it for me, I'll go eat KFC. "What junk food are you eating? You're not allowed to go." The grandmother and grandson had conflicts every day due to various issues such as eating habits, routines, and hygiene habits. Leo disliked his grandmother's nagging and interference, while Martha disliked her grandson's laziness and disobedience. Finally, during an argument, Leo impatiently pushed Martha. Martha lost her balance and fell to the ground, landing on her arm, and let out a painful groan. After examination at the hospital, it was found to be a radius fracture. Mark rushed to the hospital after receiving a call. Seeing his mother in a cast, he was both angry and anxious. He vented all his anger on me. "Ava, look what you've done. If you had been willing to take care of the family, how would my mom have come? How would she have been injured?" he roared at me. I looked at him coldly and said, "Mark, first, your mom wanted to come herself. Second, it was your son Leo who pushed her, not me. Third, why should I be responsible for the conflict between you and your mother?" "You." Mark was speechless, then made a demand. "I don't care. Mom needs someone to take care of her now. You quit your job and come back to take care of her." I can hardly believe my ears. "Resign?" He actually asked me to resign again? Impossible. I refused flatly. "I just found a job, and I'm doing well. The boss even gave me a raise. Your mother is injured. You are her son. You should take time off to take care of her." "Me take time off? There's a ton of stuff at the company. How can I leave?" Mark said anxiously. "That's your problem." I said firmly. "In any case, I will not resign." Mark was so angry that his face turned pale. In the end, he could only take leave himself and began his hectic life. On one side was his mother in the hospital, constantly complaining and making demands, and on the other side was his son at home, playing games and spending money like water. Mark quickly experienced my previous situation. Even more so, Martha was staying in the hospital, which was quite expensive. Without my financial control, Leo spent money even more lavishly, buying game equipment and new mobile phones without batting an eye. Mark's salary was not particularly high to begin with, and he had to pay the mortgage, his mother's medical expenses, and Leo's expenses, so he soon became stretched thin. The father and son had a fierce conflict over money issues. "Dad, give me money. I want to buy limited edition sneakers." Leo reached out for money. Buy. All you know is buying. Do you even know what the situation is at home right now? Doesn't your grandma need money for her hospitalization? Where would I get extra money to buy you shoes? Mark roared irritably. "I don't care. All my classmates have them. I want them," Leo insisted. "Besides comparing yourself to your classmates, what else can you do? Your grades are a disaster. What about the high school entrance exam? Isn't that because your wife shut down my tutoring class?" Leo pushed the blame onto me. "How dare you say that?" Mark couldn't bear it anymore, pointing at Leo and yelling, "How did your grandma break her bone? You unfilial son. That's what she deserves." "Who told her to be so nosy?" Leo retorted, sticking his neck out, then looked at his distraught father and cursed fiercely. "Worthless. You can't even come up with this little bit of money." The words worthless hit Mark's heart like a heavy hammer. He was stunned, his face pale, and he looked at me with a complicated expression. I guess, at that moment, he finally understood a little bit of how I felt when Leo pointed his finger at me and called me a parasite. Unfortunately, it was too late. The middle school exam results are out, and Leo is a full 10 points below the key high school admission line. This means that if he wants to go to a better private high school, he will need to pay a considerable school selection fee, about $100. 000. Mark held the report card, his brow furrowed. He came to me to discuss it, hoping to use our joint savings. "Ava, look at Leo's grades. If he wants to go to a better school, it will cost $100,000. I interrupted him directly. "Mark, we don't have much joint savings left. My salary after starting work has been spent on myself and the necessary expenses of this family. As for your part, dealing with your mother's medical expenses and Leo's squandering, I'm afraid there's not much left, right?" Mark was silent. This was the truth. Leo, who was listening from the side, became anxious. "Then what am I going to do? I can't possibly go to that trash vocational school. I looked at him and said calmly, "There are always more solutions than problems. Don't you have a biological mother who is best to you? 100,000 yuan shouldn't be anything to her, right?" Leo's eyes lit up for a moment, then dimmed again. He remembered the last time he was refused tutoring fees, but he had no choice but to bite the bullet and go to Serena again. This time, Serena didn't refuse directly. She came to the house with a large red envelope and stuffed it into Leo's hands as a form of appeasement. Then, she looked at Mark meaningfully. "Mark, look at you, having to work, take care of the elderly, and now worry about Leo's schooling. It's really too hard on you," Serena said softly, her eyes full of concern. "Why don't I move back in? After all, we are Leo's biological parents, and it would be easier to take care of him together. We can also consider remarrying, to give Leo a complete family." Mark was clearly a little tempted. He was exhausted by his recent life, and Serena's appearance and suggestion seemed like a lifeline. I watched them flirting with each other, my heart completely unmoved. I even felt like laughing. "Okay," I said, my voice as calm as if discussing the weather. "Mark, let's get divorced." Mark and Serena were both stunned. They probably didn't expect me to be so straightforward. "You want to remarry? I'll help you fulfill that." I looked at Mark. "Regarding the property, my parents also helped with a portion of the down payment when we bought this house, so I want to take back my share of the increased value of the premarital property. As for the rest, you've basically spent all your money, so I won't bother with you about that." Mark was probably overwhelmed by the beautiful future Serena painted, or perhaps he felt indebted to me, and quickly agreed to my proposal. The divorce went through quickly. On the day I was packing to leave, Leo blocked the door, looking at me with extremely vicious eyes. "Get out, you bad woman, Jinx. Finally get out of our house," he screamed. I curse you to never get married, to be lonely forever, to be unwanted. 5 years of living together day and night, and this is the curse I get in return." I looked at his distorted face, and the last trace of nostalgia and unbearable feelings vanished. I didn't say anything, just dragged my suitcase and walked past him, leaving without looking back at this home that had been the repository of my 5 years of youth and emotion. After the divorce, I devoted myself wholeheartedly to work. With Chloe's help and my own efforts, I gained a firm foothold in the firm and got a promotion opportunity. I rented a comfortable apartment and started planning my new life. About half a year later, I unexpectedly received a call from my former mother-in-law, Martha. Her voice sounded old and tired, with a sob. On the phone, she told me a shocking piece of gossip in fits and starts. It turned out that Serena didn't sincerely want to come back and take care of him. She had previously accumulated a large gambling debt and came back under the guise of remarrying, tricking Mark into mortgaging the house to pay off the debt. As a result, not long after she got the money, her gambling addiction flared up again, and she lost all the money from the house mortgage. The creditors came to collect, and the house was forcibly auctioned off. And Mark, because he had taken leave to take care of his mother, plus the company's poor performance led to layoffs. He was actually unemployed. The family was kicked out of the house and ended up on the streets. Seeing that the situation was not good, Serena once again took away the little money Mark had left and disappeared without a trace. Martha sobbed on the phone, saying that Mark and Serena are now arguing over Leo's custody, but neither of them wants this burden. Mark himself is struggling to survive, and Serena is nowhere to be found. "Ava, Mom knows I haven't been good to you before. Can you come back and help us?" Leo, I hung up the phone before she finished speaking. "I am not a saint, nor am I a recycling bin." After some time, an unexpected person found me downstairs at my company, Leo. He looked a lot more haggard, thinner, darker, and the arrogance of the past was gone, replaced by a kind of fear and humbleness. When he saw me, he knelt down with a thud. "Ava, Auntie, no, Mom," he cried bitterly. "I know I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. I was ignorant before, instigated by my mother and grandma. You are the best to me. Please, come back and remarry Dad. We can't live without you." He was weeping and tearful, repenting of all the wrongdoings of the past, recounting all the good things I had done for him, as if he had been reborn. But looking at him, I just felt disgusted. "Leo," I said calmly, "you are coming to me now not because you really realize you were wrong, nor because you miss me so much. You are just desperate and need someone to clean up the mess you left behind." Someone to continue to provide you with a stable life so you can continue to be your young master. His crying stopped abruptly, and a trace of embarrassment flashed across his face as if he had been exposed. I don't accept your apology, and I'm even less likely to grant your request. I looked at him kneeling on the ground, without the slightest hint of softness. You were the one who kicked me out of the house. Now, please leave my life as well. You chose your own path, so please bear the consequences yourself. I walked around him and went straight into the office building. The security guard stopped Leo, who was trying to follow. I didn't look back. In the following years, I accepted the company's expatriate opportunity and went to the European branch. There, I met my current life partner, a gentle and considerate Frenchman. We got married and had a lovely daughter. My career also flourished, and I became a senior partner in the firm. Occasionally, I would hear news about Mark's family from Chloe or other former acquaintances. Mark was eventually diagnosed with late-stage lung cancer due to long-term depression, alcoholism, and the blow of unemployment. It is said that he doesn't have much time left and has been sent back to his hometown to be taken care of by his elderly parents. Martha's fracture never fully recovered, who barely managed by farming. Serena has completely disappeared. There are rumors that she was sold to northern Myanmar due to gambling debts, and her fate is unknown. As for Leo, without the control and financial support of his parents, he dropped out of school and became a street thug, causing trouble all day long. Eventually, in a fight, he accidentally seriously injured someone and was sentenced to 13 years in prison, spending his youth, which should have been spent striving, behind bars. Hearing this news, I didn't feel any joy of revenge in my heart, only a sense of peace as things settled down. Those people and things that once caused me so much pain have finally become a thing of the past. I looked at my sleeping daughter beside me. My husband gently put his arm around my shoulders, and the sunlight shone through the French windows, warm and bright. I have completely let go. Saying goodbye to the wrong people allows you to meet the right scenery. I embrace my new life and am grateful for everything I have now. As for those unbearable pasts, let them fade away with the wind.